For over 30 years now, former rubber workers from our closed tire plant have been gathering over coffee to share their stories and remember life as it was when they worked at Uniroyal. When they're all gone, who will remember? To us who can still remember, Uniroyal was much more than a factory north of the Eau Claire River. It was a frame of mind.
You had a good core there. That was one thing I liked about the job. You just say, hey, I need help. They got some time you can spare, and they'd come forth.
Hey, Mr. President, Jack Zilis, how are you this afternoon?
Well, I'm just great. That's great, Safety Director Dwayne.
It was a good place to work, a very friendly atmosphere. You made more friends at a tire plant than you could anyplace else.
Uniroyal was a company that if you didn't have a lot of special education, you could go, and the company was good at training. And some of our best employees were employees that probably couldn't be employed a lot of other places, but once they got in there and was trained, they was a viable part of the community.
It was a great job for people who had a high school education. They didn't have to go to college. Hard work, manual work, rubber smells, dirtier probably than what people are used to nowadays. But it created a lifestyle.
It wasn't always about build. It was, oh, I did this or I did that, and people lived interesting lives, like you would talk about a trip you took, and it was just like more or less everybody knew everybody, or it was family.
We were family. I don't use that word lightly. For example, when I first started working there, we rotated around the clock. I was up on the machine where I could look over the whole tire room. Every person, the builder, the splicer, and I knew each one. And that's not to say I knew each name and all that, but I knew the things about them that made them what they were. As I was looking at them, every station had a radio, and all of a sudden this one song came across. It was, I Want to Know What Love Is. I dare say I had goose pimples. Words can be very significant, but sometimes it takes action, and I was observing this action taking place. Here are these people working 2:30 in the morning. They're not home with their kids or their husband or their spouses. They're working. What action, what a show of what love is.
You run into an awful lot of good people, and that's the part that probably hurts the most, because it gets to be a sad story.
The cloudy skies were fitting. January 8th, 1991 could go down as one of the darkest days in Eau Claire's history.
After nearly 75 years of operation, the city's largest private employer is shutting its doors.
It's kind of a shot to the gut, because you know people who worked at the plant, and you know the story, and you know there are a lot of people who are going to be affected here.
We all knew at the time that this was cataclysmic. I mean, there's no question in anybody's mind that as far as Eau Claire was concerned, this was cataclysmic. And so everybody, I didn't have to tell people that this was an important story. I mean, everybody knew.
Well, I think we feel a lot of things, but I think we have to take one day at a time. We will sit down with the company and get the facts a little bit straighter in the days ahead.
And did it have personal effects and hardships on me? Absolutely. Some of them took years to get over. But I never felt it at the time, because my time was so absorbed with trying to help people.
Plant manager John Annefeld gave management side in an afternoon press conference.
We were advised by the Vice President of Manufacturing this morning that as far as he knew, there was nothing that any of us could do in order to turn the decision around.
Whether we accept our place in time or not, we are the eyes of history.
I guess the conversation is, where has the last 30 years gone?